So not only is the UK government doubling down on internet censorship, but Keir Starmer is literally being reported to the International Criminal Court for crimes against humanity. And that is not all, boys. That is absolutely not all. After, many protests against the internet censorship and the social media bans in Nepal, the Gen Z protests, the Gen Zs got out there and protested and absolutely burnt the Parliament building down. So let's get into it. This is crazy today. But first and foremost, make sure you like the video so that YouTube counts your view as a view, and make sure you subscribe, boys. I'll keep you updated on all of this. The UK government doubles down. Imagine doubling down on something so unpopular with your people. If your people don't want it, it's like probably a 90-10 issue. If your people don't want this, if they don't want internet censorship and you enforce it anyway, then you are absolutely a totalitarian, authoritarian government. I mean, it's pretty clear that Starmer has basically turned the UK into North Korea now, but he confirmed the other day that the government is considering full ID, digital ID rollout, mandatory digital ID, and it's so obvious to me what should happen, but I'm not going to say it, so let's keep moving. In less than 48 hours, Gen Z protests in Nepal did the following: burnt down multiple politicians' houses, increased the protest even during curfew, and firing around multiple cities, made the prime minister resign, entered parliament, and burnt it. This is the generation that doesn't forgive and doesn't forget. Hashtag Gen Z protest. Talk about a fuck around and find out. So many people were against the social media bans in Nepal because obviously who wouldn't? And the UK government, which is made the Nepal government, which has like 19 people, tried to tell 100 million people what to do. Maybe if you only have 19 people, you shouldn't be trying to tell hundreds of millions of people what to do, trying to tell them they couldn't go on social media, trying to tell them they couldn't go on the internet, that the internet had to be censored. But look at this. In Nepal, politicians ban social media use, citizens burn down parliament, politicians flee by helicopter. Now, I can't show all of this, but I will show some of it, okay? Just to give you guys an idea of what is going on, because it's absolutely insane. This is crazy. This is the power that the people have. This is why I was saying that there's nothing that governments fear more than their own citizenship, but still a handful of them will try to tell literally the amount that numbers the sands of the sea what to do. Exactly. Here it is. The UK government. Here's my example. UK government makes an official statement to double down on internet censorship after arresting people for memes ex post. This time they state censorship is for all ages. It's for everybody, boys. It's no longer just to protect the kids. It's for everyone. It's absolutely for everyone, and it's ridiculous. I mean, the new Home Secretary of the UK, Shabana Mahmood, literally said that people holding the English flag, the white males, were bad people. It's ridiculous. It's clear that the UK government hates their country, they hate their flag, and they hate their own people. But who did Keir Starmer appoint as a housing minister during a literal housing crisis, because the asylum seekers are getting $300,000 homes, and the British citizens can't even afford a flat, okay? They can't even afford to rent a single bedroom apartment. It's ridiculous. So who does he appoint to solve the problem? Well, he appointed a housing minister who hates private housing. Absolutely insane. Talk about conceding to the oligarchs and the people that buy up so many different houses. These people, this is the issue. They want all housing to be government housing. They want all housing to be Section 8 so that they can tell you, hey, you better listen. Otherwise, we will make it where you can't pay rent. We'll cut your rent. We'll kick you out. We'll do what we want to do. It's a total control scheme. It's ridiculous. But who will implode first, boys? You can take a guess. Put it in the comments. Who will implode first like Nepal? France or the UK? Do you guys think that France will blow up, or do you think the UK will? Long story short, French government officially collapses. Another fuck around and find out moment. Jesus, dude, you think these people would be intelligent not to be so open with their malevolence, but they're not. They're ridiculous. And what are the French patriots planning to do tomorrow? They are planning a nationwide strike, 10th of September, so tomorrow, demanding elections after the government collapse. So they don't want to shake around. They don't want to, what Keir Starmer would call a move around Parliament, where he just moves people to avoid accountability. The French people want an entire new election. They want the old PM gone, and they're absolutely right to want it, because what are these people doing? What are these governments doing? They're betraying their people. A lot of just to show you in perspective, a lot of UK Parliament members actually support this, and the African Union is demanding the UK pay reparations to Africa. You heard that right, boys. The Africa Joins Crusade for UK to pay reparations for historic crimes, and more often than not, I guarantee that Keir Starmer is going to do it, because he hates his people. He also, he just wants his people to be broker. He wants them to not have as much money. He likes ruining the economy. He's a very terrible prime minister. It's very clear that he's not just incompetent. This dude is full-blown malevolent. But back to Nepal, because the social media ban that led to a massive amount of protests that ended up where the government ended up firing on protesters, which sparked the insane protests that burnt down the parliament buildings. Well, what does Nepal do after that? After they all had to flee on helicopters, what do you think that they do? Put it in the comment down below. Let's get into it, boys. This is Sky News Australia. Make sure you like the video, and make sure you subscribe, and go over to Sky News Australia and give them a sub too, and like their video. All right, boys, let's watch it.
Look at some terrible scenes from Nepal, where at least 19 people were killed and hundreds more injured during youth.
19 people, 19, including the Prime Minister's wife.
Protests, riots over corruption, and Nepal's social media bans. That seemed to be at the...
Isn't Australia doing this, though? Isn't Australia also trying to ban social media? But I guess it's just for teens, so it doesn't matter. But that's the issue. They're banning it for people that could be of fighting age in 2 years, and they're going to remember that Australia banned them from the internet.
Of these protests, the social media bans. Now, the majority killed were in the capital, Kathmandu, when they were fired upon by security forces.
Yep. They fired upon the protesters, sparking them to burn everything down, because, of course, people have the right to protest, and a government that fires upon protesters or arrests protesters is a totalitarian government.
Their kosher moved last week to ban social media sites like Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, and they claimed that was necessary to stop hate speech and misinformation, but the protesters saw it.
Stop the hate speech and misinformation, boys. Take away the internet. Just do away with it. We'll be better off without it. Too bad Gen Z was raised on the internet, and they're absolutely savage whenever it comes to their phones. I don't know if you've ever seen a Gen Z person scrolling through TikTok, and you try to tell them that, you shouldn't be on TikTok that much. Dude, they look at you like they want to cut your they're so aggressive. They're so angry. It's like, brother, all I said was that you probably shouldn't be on TikTok that much. It's not healthy. They don't care. They were raised on this. They're addicted to it. They don't care. And whenever you take it away from them, the one thing that they enjoy, this is what's going to happen.
As a tool for censorship. It's interesting because it sounds very familiar to some of the bans.
That's a lot more than censorship, though, right? That's way more than censorship. That's just removing complete access to any information at all. It's not just censoring certain information. That's a full-blown censoring everything. You can't hear anything that daddy government doesn't want you to hear. Of course they should protest. Of course they should march in the streets. I don't blame them.
We're having instituted here where under 16s are going to be banned from YouTube, X, Instagram, and many other sites.
Very familiar all throughout history. You see this where people in power try to control information flow and access to information, and countries like Nepal, Burma had an incident like that maybe a decade ago, and there were all these activist journalists trying to get it out on the internet, etc. In the day and age of the internet, it's really, really difficult for them to do that. So it's kind of like whack-a-mole, that the governments will keep doing it, but they will always find a way to get information out there. But it's bad enough if you see it in Nepal and Burma and places like that. I think what is worse is, as you mentioned here.
Yeah, it's very clear they don't care about what their citizens want anymore. You've got a handful of politicians trying to tell you how you can live your life when the citizens number hundreds of millions. Like, why should you listen to a handful of people try to tell you how to live your life? It makes no sense.
The UK now has been in the crosshairs with this, and that's the part that's scary. That so-called nations that are supposed to be bastions of free speech are doing something that doesn't look quite too different from that. And
they're supposed to be bastions of Western civilization, but instead they've turned on Western society, and they cater to the Quran, they cater to the Sharia law. The UK literally said that Sharia law was legal in court because they upheld Sharia law ruling, which is ridiculous. We are in a Western society. We have our own laws. They should be conforming to our laws, not the other way around. Western civilization has brought more freedom and opportunity to citizens than any other civilization in the history of ever. And of course they want to do away with it, because if they can get you to give up your civilities or your rights under the guise of protect the kids, then they can control you, which is exactly what they want.
This is a little bit of a clarion call.
And using the same reasons about minimising harm, for safety reasons, for misinformation.
Just protect the kids, boys. Protect the kids. They're consuming misinformation. Oh, my goodness. I would argue that a lot of news is misinformation.
The reasons given are very familiar as well.
Indeed.
Now, before you go, more political chaos in France. Emmanuel Macron is about to be looking for his fourth prime minister in just 12 months. This comes after French MPs toppled the government in a confidence vote. Kosha, is Europe's second largest economy in crisis?
Absolutely.
Seems to be, the fundamentals of that country. We know it's very similar to the rest of Europe and elsewhere. The immigration problem, cost of living, censorship, all of those things, unemployment, etc. And then they formed this very uneasy...
Well, maybe there's so much, cost of living, housing problems, and so much unemployment because there's not any jobs, because they're flooding the country with millions of migrants a year. Millions, absolute millions. They are full-blown, eroding Western civilization and giving priority to the migrants while treating you like a second-class citizen. They get their homes paid for, they get their food paid for, but you have to struggle to rent a one-bedroom apartment, and you have to struggle to find a job because there's no job market where businesses compete for labor by raising the cost of wages. But instead, because there's so much labor, there's so much new labor, they just keep lowering it. They lower the cost of wages, or it doesn't go up at all, because they can take somebody else who they can pay cheaper over you, because that person doesn't have to pay taxes or their own home payment. Okay. It's ridiculous. It's very clear what they're doing, and it's by far one of the most malevolent things that we have seen in our lifetimes.
Alliance, because in response to that, Marine Le Pen's party is on the rise, as are her counterparts in the rest of Europe, the populist right. And then they're forming these uneasy alliances, the rest of the parliament. So it was always going to be tenuous. Not surprising, I think, to many people that this happened. And the question is, Macron himself is losing popularity, and
brother,
no.
This dude has no popularity. He has none. This dude is like negative popularity. Okay, he's just gone. There's no more popularity left. This dude is in the negative. He's out of there. It's insane that there has not been an election to get him out. And you wonder why. When you watch what's going to happen tomorrow, trust old Paperbag Boy. They're going to get that next election. I promise you. The people in France are angry, and I would be too. I absolutely would be too. 4 different times in a year, boys.
Is his story going to end? Remains to be seen, but
yes,
they'll do another snap election. This is all downstream from the snap election that he called. He made a political calculation that sort of backfired, and I think as long as those fundamentals in France remain unchanged, as they seem to be right now, this is sort of a patchwork and it's going to keep toppling over.
Yep.
Kosher Gator, thank you so much for your time.
It's a way to avoid accountability. Is what it is. It's a way for the French government to avoid accountability is what it is. And it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we've seen this kind of stuff before. We've seen what these governments do before, where they literally try to move around the government to avoid accountability completely. They lose their deputy prime minister that upholds what they want, that enforces what they want. And so they bring somebody else in, like the new Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmoud, who hates white people, who hates men, and says that if you hold up a flag, you're a bad person and a racist. And it's insane. It's ridiculous what is going on. I mean, I think that we should, I'm very proud of the UK boys for coming together. All right, boys, that's going to be it for me. Paper or plastic. Make sure you like the video so that YouTube counts your view as a view, and make sure you subscribe, boys. I love all of you. Paper or plastic. Paper being good, plastic being bad. First and foremost, what do we got, boys? We got the UK government doubling down. That shit is plastic. I think it's plastic as fuck. And what do we have about Nepal? Okay, that's a little iffy, all right? I don't condone violence, boys. No violence over here. I'm not going to give it a plastic, though. Okay, that's going to be it for me, boys. I love all of you. GG's. Peace.